I mean, how we look is one way we present ourselves to the world. But how we use our voice is a prime way that we share who we are with others. Learning how to sing can change your whole view of who you are, because it can open you up and give you a sense of power over the way that you communicate with other people.
Yeah. This is the Happy Voice podcast with me, Heather Meyer Thomas, looking at singing from a fresh perspective. In this episode, psychologist Dr. Courtney Raspin explains the physical, mental and emotional health benefits of the voice, and tells us how curiosity, creativity and playfulness are important in being a healthy adult. We ask, are there parallels between our relationship with our voice and our body image? We discuss our fear of judgment and how comparing our voice to others is like comparing the size of our bum with someone on Instagram.
So I am Dr. Courtney Raspin, and I am a psychologist practicing in London. I specialize in eating disorders, but I work in general mental health as well. And I am here because you are my singing teacher. And I started singing with you. Goodness, I think something like 15 years ago. Oh my goodness, 15 years ago. And you teach my husband to sing, and he continues to sing with you. And he sounds fantastic.
He does sound fantastic.
He sounds fantastic.
He really gets better and better all the time.
He does. Well, he's somebody who's willing to put the time in.
Yeah.
And yes, I don't know, is there much more to say?
There's a conversation, I think, about singing, and it's the same sort of thing as body image. I mean, not exactly the same thing, but I think there are lots of parallels. The people have all these kind of preconceptions about what they should be like, and experiences in childhood and families and everything, where people get these ideas about what you should sound like when you sing, and especially with all these television programs and all this stuff being, tuned. Anyway, sorry, I'm talking too much, but that's kind of what I wanted to do the podcast about.
Okay.
Because the conversations that I've had with people over the years, and the emotional impact, and the way that people don't do it because the way it makes them feel that they're so negative, and that someone's going to think this and someone's going to think that. And I just thought, there's body shaming, and there's fat shaming, and there's slut shaming, and there's voice shaming. And I think that's a hashtag that needs to go viral.
Well, I think what you raise is a really interesting point, because you're right in that singing, especially singing with somebody else, it's an exchange. And what you say to yourself when you produce a sound is often going to be a microcosm of the way that you judge yourself with anything.
Ooh,
in
yes.
life.
Yeah.
So if you make a sound and you like that sound, it's going to be a very different voice than if you make a sound and you don't like that sound. And if you don't like that sound, then you might say, oh, you sound terrible, or that was shit, or you might say, that's interesting. I wonder how I can shift that. Now, those are two very different approaches to change.
Yeah.
Aren't they? And I think what you do, and what's so great about the work you do, is you are so compassionate and encouraging. So no matter what sound comes out, there's never a look of disgust that comes across your face.
Oh, well, I'm very glad. Not that I would ever have been disgusted in any sound that you ever made, obviously. And I'm not disgusted by anything. It's because it's us.
But we can be disgusted by ourselves.
Yes. We can.
And a lot of that is going to be about how we were responded to growing up when we made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah? So if we make a mistake and we step a foot wrong, we make a sound wrong, be metaphorical here, then how was that responded to? Was it responded to in a, okay, well, that's not quite what we're going for here.
Yeah.
But there was a really interesting thing you did. How can we build on that? Let's try it this way.
Yeah.
Let's be playful and open and curious about our possibility rather than, oh, that was terrible. It needs to be like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think learning to sing is very much a metaphor for how you engage with your own ability to develop and your own view of yourself and how you judge yourself.
Yeah. Oh God, that is so true, because the emotional content, I mean, not just the emotional content of putting a song across, but before you even get to a song, people will sit, and before they even start to sing in their first lesson, will have the tissues out. That the actual act of walking through the door and coming to see me has been so traumatic for a lot of people, actually, and panicky responses and all sorts of fear and dread. So what's that about?
Obviously, it depends upon the person, but there is this thing about, I can't sing.
Yeah.
I can sing. Now, I know for you, you feel everybody can sing. That's a very different position to start from. But if you're kind of shamed for your singing or shamed for your voice, why would you ever want to actually come and make somebody listen to you?
Yeah.
Because the expectation is that you're going to be terrible and that you're going to not only shame yourself, but you'll be shamed externally for it. I think our voice is, how we look is one way we present ourselves to the world. But how we use our voice is a prime way that we share who we are with others. And people who are confident and secure, they project. They stand differently. So the body and the voice. And people who are insecure tend to sit more, crouched over, and the voice is quite, small. So saying, learning how to sing can change your whole view of who you are, because it can open you up and give you a sense of power over the way that you communicate with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I always think as well, there are parallels with sport. And people tend to learn sport if they're interested in it. If you want to hit a tennis ball, you might go and get some lessons, or golf or whatever.
Yeah.
But our voices are things that we use all the time that are much more powerful in the world than our sport, unless we are, a professional. And yet, we kind of leave it up to chance. You open your mouth and you don't know what's going to come out, and you don't know how to change what's going to come out. But actually, there are always a few little things that you can learn to do, which is why I think, all the kids in the world should have a few lessons in voice production, because, as you say, it gives us a frame around who we are when we present ourselves to the world.
It is a bit like sport in that, you have lessons.
Yeah.
I guess some people are blessed with a beautiful voice or, and a tone. And fantastic, just the way some people are blessed with raw talent for sport. But if you don't develop that, then it really isn't going to go anywhere. And if you're told that your voice is your voice and there's nothing you can do,
exactly. It's a shame in so many. Well, it's not a shame. It's lovely when people actually start to think about voices. I mean, the whole point of these conversations really are that I want people to think about voices, not in a way that makes people feel worried or scared, but actually in a way that might make them feel a bit excited.
Empowered.
Yeah,
empowered.
Absolutely.
To know how to modulate your voice.
Yeah.
It is powerful, because you then have control, a little bit more control, as to the message that you communicate. I want to communicate this message and I want it to have this effect. Yeah? If you can control the words you write, but you can also control the way in which you deliver that, in the same way that an actor does.
Yeah.
And I think not everybody has those skills because they haven't been taught, or they haven't even thought that it's something you can do.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Power.
Yeah, but also, there's sort of 2 or 3 ways of looking at that, isn't there? There's also looking at what people have naturally and valuing it without the need to change it. So that the shaming doesn't kick in so deeply. I don't know, it's a kind of tricky one. But
well, yes, I think you're saying, it's interesting the parallel to body image, in that, you have all these shows out there that kind of say, this is how somebody should sound.
Yeah.
So somebody sitting at home might say, well, goodness, I don't sound anything like that. So I can't sing. So I mustn't sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when people sing along with, I mean, just basic little bits of information and knowledge can make such a difference. I mean, people will sing along with the radio or whatever, and they might be singing a song by, I don't know, someone with a really deep voice or a really high voice, and they can't sing in the same way because physically they don't have the same chords as that
range,
person.
yes.
And so they'll think, oh, well, it's my voice that's the problem. We don't like doing what we're not good at, do we? Or it worries, it upsets us. And I think that in itself is a really good skill, is being able to do what you're not good at.
Well, I think it's about being playful.
Yeah.
It's about maintaining our inner child.
Yeah.
Because as children, the one thing we love about children is that they just, no holds barred, they just do what they're going to do. And if they make a sound, they can laugh at themselves and say, oh, where did that come from? Oh, let me do that again. That was fun. That was interesting.
Yeah.
And as we get older, we get kind of narrowed down and put in how things should be. But I think singing, as with all arts, gives us an opportunity to stay in touch with our playful child. And that is an important part of being a healthy adult.
Yeah.
You are not a healthy adult if you can't access spontaneity and creativity and that playful part of yourself.
Yeah. So when you say you're not a healthy adult, what do you mean by that?
Well, I think part of being a healthy adult is being able to play and let go. Because and be curious and creative. And people that are frightened of that or somehow don't feel comfortable because they're frightened of that part of themselves. They think it's immature. They think it's going to be judged. They think that they'll be shamed. They think that it's it's puerile. All of those things, you become very locked.
Yeah.
And possibility. There are fewer possibilities for creating something new or learning something new about yourself. You have to be able to kind of make a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
And laugh at yourself a bit in order to grow, because I think there's an inherent sense when you can do that. I'm okay as I am, and all of these other things aren't going to mean that I'm a terrible person. They're just something that I need to learn to do. Rather than people who kind of can't do that, or they're frightened, if they do one thing that isn't perfect, I'm a terrible person.
Yeah.
It means it's everything I am. If I come here and mess up a song, it's like, well, okay, I'm still Courtney and I still know who I am, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to walk out of here a terrible person. It means well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do with that.
So a lot of it it's about interpretation, isn't it? It's what things mean, and what things mean to us, and how we interpret a situation, or what we think somebody else is going to interpret a situation as. And that's really scary. I always think when you give that amount of power away to the world at large, who you may or you may not ever meet, or may not ever care about, you really are losing yourself, aren't you?
Absolutely, and it's a huge risk to come in and say, if you're somebody who in the outside world is, let's say, a confident banker, and you come in here and you're kind of holding yourself in that confident banker bit, but actually you feel like a 4-year-old boy. Yeah. Because this is not your skill set. It can be very hard to kind of marry those two together. And I think that's what can make it so scary for people, because you come in here and you say, okay, pull your shoulders back. What does that feel like in your chest? Breathe like this. You do make yourself vulnerable.
Yeah. No, you do. It is, isn't it? It is scary. So when you kind of disconnect yourself with the playful 5-year-old who doesn't mind running around the playground making a sound like a motorbike, and then you're a 45-year-old lawyer and you're having to sit here and make a sound like a motorbike, it is a bit scary, but actually it's liberating as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. But I think that's where your skill comes in as well, in that not everybody can engender that from someone. Not somebody can make somebody comfortable enough to do that. And I know you have to coax and cajole a little bit sometimes. Sometimes you have to model that. You have to say, like this, and you make a sound like a motorbike. And then somebody sitting here goes, oh, okay, if she can look like an idiot, I can look like an idiot too. And that's okay.
It's such a great advantage being an idiot.
It's liberating. You can just, you can come in here and just let go.
I think this whole thing about the people who judge And the people who put down, you painted a lovely picture earlier on of children running around the playground and not minding what they did, and when they made a sound they went, oh, that was fun, let's do it again.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes along and says to that child, that was terrible, and embarrasses them. And I mean, in the case of so many people that I've taught, at some point during their school career, maybe some, I don't know, a teacher or someone at church or someone in the family has said something that's embarrassed them and cut them off at the knees. And in many cases, they've never sung again.
Yes.
And to me, that is abusive. That's taking away something so precious.
I agree, because your voice is such, again, it's part of your identity. It's a part of, how you communicate with the world. So to tell a child that your primary way of expressing yourself is bad is essentially what you're saying.
That's true. God, it sounds even worse when you say it like that. I mean, it is though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It really is. And I think this is what happens to so many people. I must compile a list somewhere of all the things that people have told me over the years that have contributed to them shutting down. And it's awful. And some of the things actually, I suppose, may have been done quite innocently at some point, maybe by a sibling or something, but they hit the person at just the wrong time and they weren't able to recover from it, or they took this secret, shame away and just... I mean, one woman that I taught, she was in choirs for years and years at school and she absolutely loved music. And then she had an experience, I think, where the conductor or somebody said something and made her feel absolutely terrible. But she carried on going to choir for like the next 5 years or however long she was at school, doing all the concerts, doing everything else and learning all the music, but she never actually made a sound. She just opened and closed her mouth. I know. I mean, I actually cried in her first lesson. We were here together both weeping. And she told me the story because she loved music so much, but something about that experience had this horrible effect on her and had stolen her voice.
Yes, and it had stolen her, it had severed a connection with something she loved.
Yeah. That's horrible, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, that is abusive. Can we name and shame on here?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I must. They're all called Mrs. Perkins, the music teacher. Sorry if you're really called Mrs. Perkins. I just remember there was one of them. I remember thinking, oh God. But it's what I call the Simon Cowell syndrome, where all of a sudden people are set up to judge others. And I mean, before we had all these X Factors and everything, there weren't really programmes where artists felt that they had to rely on a television show to get them a career.
No. I mean, but I think you raise an interesting point in that, okay, not all of us are commercial singers. Okay? Yes, not all of us are made to be recording artists. So there are those singers who are going to have that level, or perhaps, I don't want to say that tone, because everybody's tone is different, and we can look at the range out there. But I think singing has been turned into this thing that you do if you want to sound like a recording artist.
Yeah.
And I guess my question to you is, what do you think singing actually is to most people? If not that, what should it be?
Ooh, what a fantastic question. I think it's the bit of ourselves that flies rather than walks. Do you know what I mean? It's like sort of vocal aviation. That's what it's like. That's the picture I've got in my head as I'm talking about it. So for me, speech is communication in steps that walks along.
Yes.
Singing is where it takes off and flies. And it doesn't have the same basis. I don't know where that came from, but I'm really on this. I can feel this in my head. So, yeah, and we've all got that right, Everybody can, as they say in Wicked, everybody has the chance to fly. Everyone deserves the chance to fly. But it's...
and be popular.
Yeah. No, stop that. Nobody wants to be popular. It's too much pressure.
It's a good song, though.
Yeah, it's a great song. Shall we? But, so, yeah, to me, that's what it is. And it isn't really to do with anybody else. It's to do with your own experience of moving with your voice.
Absolutely. And I think that's where we've been socialized in the wrong way about what singing is. That it's an individual experience rather than something that's put on stage to be, judged by others.
Yeah, absolutely. I always think unless someone is buying a ticket to come and see you, they have no business to judge what you sound like, and this is why I think I wish I could get inside the head of the people who feel so sad about their singing. I'd love to be able to get in there and just sort of reset something where the outcome of the sound there wasn't one. That there wasn't any outcome. It didn't matter in terms of anybody else, that it was an in-the-moment experience of making sound.
That's tricky because usually when you make a sound, there's a recipient of that sound.
Yeah,
so
I suppose even if it's just yourself,
because it becomes a relational activity in a way. So I think that's part of why people have such strong feelings about it, because actually you're putting something out there that you can't take back.
Yes.
And somebody else receives it, and you don't know what they're going to do with it.
Yeah. Although, I agree with that, but although I think the harshest critic is oneself.
Yes. I mean, it's interesting because even for me, and I always say I've got a good karaoke voice. That's how I describe my voice. I'm never going to be on Broadway. I'm never going to be a recording artist. But you put me up on stage one night with a few drinks, I can kill it.
You can. I've seen the video.
But there is a little bit of me that kind of wishes I had an amazing voice. There's still that voice inside me that says, oh, wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't that be so cool to have to be able to open my mouth and just be amazing?
Do you see what I think though, Courtney, is that a lot of people would love that to happen. And a lot of people hear voices that are amazing and sound amazing, amazing in inverted commas. But what people are not necessarily prepared to do is to spend 6 hours a day practicing and a lifetime of doing nothing else to make themselves as good as they can possibly be. But what I'm saying is if you did, you've spent hours and years doing the thing that you excel in.
Yeah.
Depending on the work and the focus that you put in, there's always so much going on behind the scenes.
Hard work, and dedication and passion is everything.
Yeah.
With anything that you do.
Yeah.
A raw talent that isn't trained.
Yeah.
Okay, there's that one or two raw talents, but I think the benefits of singing psychologically are so great.
Yeah.
I think even the thing that I notice most with regards to the work I do with people and the work you do is the breath work.
Yeah.
Is learning how to control the breath.
Yeah.
Not taking for granted the fact that we all breathe.
Yes. Oh, God. Absolutely. That is so important. I think if there was one thing I would write on the side of a bus to influence the rest of the world, it would be, don't forget to breathe.
Don't forget to breathe. Take a breath.
Use the breath.
Use the breath.
Yeah.
And what we know about the breath, especially kind of that full exhale, and I know there's the exercise you do with kind of imagining, the inhalation and the exhalation like an ocean, and that exhalation where you kind of are watching that wave just finish up on the shore, is you're activating that parasympathetic nervous system, which tells the body to calm down. So a long exhale is what you teach people in therapy as well when they're anxious and whatnot, because basically you're telling the heart rate to slow down, you're telling the blood pressure to go down. And when we're anxious and when we're having a panic, we don't breathe in that long, deep way. We're very much in the chest, which is also not good for singing.
No.
You have to be in that kind of parasympathetic zone. You have to be full inhales, long exhales, and when you sing, getting that sound out. So from a psychological perspective, if you're singing, when I say well, I mean technically well, as in you're using the breath in the right way, you are also calming the body.
Yeah. You are, aren't you?
You are.
It's nice to hear it said sort of scientifically.
Ah.
The parasympathetic nervous system, that's
Yes.
my new best friend. I've just been reading about the vagus muscle, or the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
That's also stimulated by humming and chanting and toning.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So singing really is good for you. It doesn't just make you feel good.
It is really good for you. And that's what, I mean, so many people say, you know, after my singing lesson, I just feel a bit lighter, a little bouncier.
Yeah.
Know? And I'm sure a lot of it's to do with you, Heather. But I think some of it is the singing.
Yeah.
You know, the singing. And also, you know, if you get people to sit correctly so that they can allow the breath in, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I also think it's the posture as well.
Yeah.
You know, some people who've walked around in life with their heads down,
Yeah.
and they come in here and all of a sudden you're telling them, I mean, it can feel like getting undressed.
Yeah.
So very scary for the first time, but once people kind of say, well, I can make this sound, I can,
Yeah.
you know, it can put you very much in your body.
And I think also giving ourselves evidence that it's okay, just little step-by-step things. The fear of it is scary because you don't know necessarily what to expect in a singing lesson if you've never had one. But yeah, these tiny little incremental bits of evidence, and once you learn that, oh, actually I can breathe, oh, I can make a sound on that breath. And I can do that, and it doesn't make anybody run for the hills or anything.
And if I just breathe that little bit differently, like I can make that note, or I can hold that, or I can control that dip, or whatever it is. It's like, wow, you know, you get a sense of competence, which is really lovely.
Yeah. Oh, it is, but it's interesting, isn't it? So looking at the well-being aspect of singing. And I mean, this is another thing that really makes me angry, that these people, these hundreds of people, I mean, there must be millions of people actually out there in the world who don't think they can sing for whatever reason, are all being denied that specific sort of well-being, which is just a crime, isn't it, really?
Oh, I think if I could, you know, change anything about our health service, I would say everybody should have a weekly massage and a singing lesson. Talk about preventative.
Yeah. It's social prescribing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think what interests me is because we've had conversations for years, haven't we, about the mental and emotional and sort of personal influences of people's experiences of their voice. And this is, I always wanted to have a conversation with you before I even decided to have, you know, a podcast, but it was always your singing lesson, so we were never going to sort of do that. So I just think the topic, and I'd like this, you know, to do this more than just this one time, really, just to kind of keep the conversation going, because I'm always saying to people that there are so many levels to singing, that it's not just about the sound, it's about the person, it's about, and also it's much less as well, that actually we can overthink the whole thing as well, can't we? In fact, I'm doing that now, probably. But I'm interested, I've followed quite a lot of your work on social media and the stuff that you've done about eating disorders and the way that people have body image. And for me, I think there are parallels between body image and vocal image, or personal vocal image. So I don't know if you'd like to talk about that for a bit. Or...
So tell me more.
Well, it's, as we said before, it's about people's personal judgment about their own sound, or fear about what other people think of it. And certainly, you know, raising kids, I've come across a lot of adolescent girls particularly, who have talked for years about their bodies and what's wrong with them, and why they can't wear this and why they can't do that, and all these things to do. And these are perfectly sort of, you know, ordinary girls, not with any particular disorder, as far as I was aware. And it's the same with the conversations I hear about singing. Or, I can't sing there, that person will think that, I'm really flat, I'm really that. And so they're all restricted by perceptions or stories that they've made up in their minds about what somebody else will think, or I don't know, I'm sort of rambling, but do you know what I mean?
No, I mean, it's an interesting conversation. I think there could be some correlates to body image in that we tend to compare ourselves to other people. And I think especially in a society where we're constantly being bombarded with messages about how we should sound, should look, should feel,
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy to forget who you are and what your unique voice is and what your unique body is like. And you lose yourself and you just kind of become, you become a projection of what you think you should be.
Yeah.
And I think that's where insecurity comes, that's where body image difficulties come. And it's challenging today, it's especially challenging today. So I think there are correlates there.
Yeah, definitely, and absolutely. I mean, today people are staring down the phone the whole time, the barrel of a phone, always got something coming back at you, a little picture of how you should be, or a little picture of danger, if you do this, then somebody will say this. That really, as I said before, unless you're paying for a ticket to go and hear somebody sing, what they sound like is none of your business.
It is none of your business.
And
it is none of your business. Although, as my son would say to his sister, just be quiet.
Yeah, but that's to do with sharing a house.
Yes, that is to do with
which has got her own flat. It'll be fine. But we're so fearful of response. We're so fearful of what somebody else will say. And if you haven't got that confidence that who you are and what you're doing is absolutely fine, you're always looking for boundaries. You're looking for the borders to tell you where you're safe, where you're not safe.
And I think another thing that's similar maybe between kind of body image and voice is that you have all these airbrushing apps.
Yes.
And you have these vocal tuning apps.
Oh, yes, you do.
As well. And just as kind of skilled photographers can tell you right away whether something's been airbrushed, I bet you could listen to something and be like, yeah. And you kind of think, well, actually, everybody sounds the same.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
What texture is there to your voice? What could you develop in your tone? Because there could be something really special there that just needs a few bits and bobs and could be something quite remarkable.
But the fight that you have to do, I mean, I'm actually speaking to Kenza Blacker next week, hopefully, who was a contestant on The Voice. And I remember watching her do her round. I'd never heard of this girl. I was just watching The Voice, which I don't normally do actually, but I did. And they'd been banging on about this other girl who was singing, saying, oh, she's unique, she's marvellous, she's so extra special and different. This girl had sung something and I think she'd worn jeans and sung a sort of classical song or something, so they thought it was terribly unique and marvellous. Gone on about this girl, about how marvellous she was, and then Kenza walked in. And I've never heard anything like it. She was kind of, forgive me for getting this wrong, I think her background is Algerian. And she, to me, had this unique, incredible sound. She was like a kind of Algerian Kate Bush.
Oh, wow.
And this voice that went everywhere and did all these exciting things. And none of the judges turned around. Not one of them. And she was the most exciting voice I think I ever heard on that programme.
Wow.
And they didn't turn around, and I thought to myself, this is horrendous. This is absolutely outrageous that you're trying to, they're promoting uniqueness and, people being special and having something else to give. And they've completely ignored this girl who was really exciting. So I stalked her and found her and got her to speak to me, and hopefully we're going to have a conversation about this.
Oh, there you go.
Because she's and the stuff that I think that she's had to put up with, being able to make her mark as a singer in a world where everybody's exactly the same, is really difficult.
It'd be fascinating to see how she conceptualizes that within herself, because she must be a strong woman.
I think she's amazing, actually. Yeah. I think she sounds to me like someone who is, I think she's given a TEDx talk as well. She's really, not afraid to stand up and speak.
I mean, as a psychologist, I would want to ask her, my immediate thought is, there is somebody that made her feel good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah? There is somebody who said, you can be what you want to be you, you are, yeah? And that's what we all need, and we didn't all get that.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
But we all deserved to have that.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes coming in with a compassionate teacher is a little bit like reparenting.
Yes, yeah, it is, isn't it? But even better if we can find that in ourselves at some point, that you don't rely on external
Well, I mean, but in a way, what you're saying is you're a therapist, you're a voice therapist, in the same way that I'm a psychotherapist. That you become the object of attachment.
Yes.
And then that becomes internalized, and you take that away.
Yeah.
So first you have to get it from somewhere else. Yeah, and you might not have gotten it when you were little, but maybe you can get it now. And then you don't want to foster dependency. What you want is for that person to develop their own healthy adult, and be able to take that away.
Oh, I like the way you're saying this, because now it's making sense to me.
Oh,
I'm ready to let all my clients go.
I like when I make sense sometimes.
You do. Right, you can all leave, you can all fly.
Fly out of the nest, fly.
But it is, I mean, I don't know, so many marvellous things to be said about singing, and so many things to be outraged about that stop other people doing it. And basically, I just want the world to stop voice shaming. Just stop. Just be nice to each other.
Yes, well, I want the world to stop shaming about anything, really. Just be nice to each other.
Yeah.
I never had anybody say, you're a terrible singer. But I have been, when you're singing in choir, in school choirs growing up, you audition and they say, okay, you're an alto.
Yeah.
Or you're a soprano.
Yeah.
And then you go and you sit in your place, and then you believe, because you're 10, 11 years old, that you are an alto.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that can be quite limiting. So then you hear a song that is clearly not for an alto. You think, oh, well, I'm an alto, I can't sing that.
Yeah.
When I've come to sing with you, you said, oh, Courtney, your range of this and you, because I'm like, oh, maybe I can do more than that. Maybe I can do... But for so many years, you don't even try, because you're given this idea that this is all you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that relates to a lot of things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it relates to being a good kid and doing what you're told.
Yes.
And the person that tells you something, you just say, okay, that's what they told me. Mm-hmm. And quite often that isn't the case. That's not saying that all teachers are rubbish. They're not. Most teachers are wonderful, wonderful people and very, very clever. But on a few occasions, something is said to someone, or it may be completely misconstrued or whatever. Mm-hmm. They may say, oh, you need to sing alto in this particular song because you are really good at harmonising. Or
we need another alto because, can you do that?
Yeah.
You can do both, but, you're strong alto, and for this song, I really want that bit to come out, whatever.
I mean, my singing teacher at school was a really good piano player. But she really knew nothing about the voice. Bless her heart, she didn't. That wasn't her job. But at our school, she was the music teacher.
Yeah.
And so if you had singing lessons, she was the person that you had singing lessons with. And she had a fantastic knowledge and a great repertoire. Yes. And she was a really good coach, but she wasn't a voice teacher.
Yes.
And so by the time I went off to music college, I was very much a mezzo-soprano alto. That's what I was. And it wasn't until I think I'd gone through Guildhall and done lots of professional work that I went back to Trinity and studied with John Wakefield for 4 years. And the first thing he said to me was, you're not a mezzo, you're a soprano. I was like, hang on a minute, I'm 28. You can't tell me that. I've got all the books. I can't afford to replace them all in another key. And also, there are much, fewer jobs for sopranos. I want to be a mezzo, but I wasn't. He was right. I was a soprano. But I had all that fear then.
Yes.
Starting again at that age of having to completely retrain.
Wow.
Fantastic teacher. And he was right. And he's the one who really gave me the confidence to trust my natural process. And just find what's there without the fear. But it's doing it without the fear, that's the thing.
Yes.
But he was a great teacher. He was someone who was, you could do what you liked. There wasn't anything bad you could do. It was always going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And it was.
But if we all believed that we couldn't do it wrong, that everything we produced was going to be okay, we'd all be running around the streets singing.
Or maybe we wouldn't. I mean, I've got a theory that if everybody did...
It'd be very noisy.
Yeah, if everybody did what they loved to do all the time, the world would run really well, because there are people who like digging holes, there are people who like driving taxis, there are people who like, climbing up ladders and fixing roofs, and there are people who like singing and people who like going to space, and we would all manage to do it, I reckon.
Just get out of everybody's way.
Just stop telling everyone they can't do things, and maybe we can all do things a lot better. It's this control thing, isn't it?
Yeah. How important do you think a singing teacher is, a voice teacher is, in enabling people to find their voice?
There are so many people who can influence your voice and who can give instruction, who can tell you things in different ways, and they haven't necessarily got to be a singing teacher. Because my kind of background is a mixture of music and therapy and coaching, and also just being a person enabler. That's what I feel, that's kind of what I'm about. That's kind of my thing, that I want to enable people to just say sod it and do what they like. But also that in everything that you do, whether it be a sport or a science or whatever, there are certain tricks and tips and rules that if you know them, they're going to make life a lot easier. Whether it's packing a suitcase or playing golf, that if you've got somebody who knows more than you, who can tell you how, then it's useful. And so in that respect, I think a singing teacher is a good idea. But I think what I don't like is methods.
Now, there's probably somebody out there for whom that method is perfect.
Yes.
And that's great. But if you don't fit into that method, and you're not doing that method, then you feel that you're bad.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's quite easy to try and find a solution to freeing your own voice through the filter of somebody else's method. And although that can be a really good thing, because you can learn something great, you may learn something great about breathing, you may learn something great about projection or how to, change your tone or your this, that, the other. But you may also find yourself trying to fit into a groove, which is very much the same as going on Instagram and seeing that someone else has got, a smaller bum than you. I don't know. I'm not very good at methods.
Well, it's interesting because if I relate it to kind of models of psychotherapy, that there are lots of different ways of working with somebody. I mean, at the end of the day, what you're going for is for somebody to feel a bit better. Yeah. And there are a lot of different ways of going about it. And you can go to a CBT therapist, or you can go to an analyst, or you can go... If you strip away all the methods and you go back to where it all began, it's really all the same stuff. It's just packaged up slightly differently, and you kind of have to find the outfit that works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Some people really like a structure.
Yeah.
Some people, they want to know exactly what they should be doing. They're quite rational. They're quite... outcome oriented, and kind of slotting them into a more protocol driven way of learning or change suits them perfectly.
Yeah.
For other people, like that, it's just not going to work. It's putting a round peg into a square hole.
Yeah.
So why would you do that?
Yeah.
And you do with teaching as with therapy. You have to be you have your skill set, but you have to tailor and you have to integrate. And you have to think about the person who's in front of you and what it is that they're bringing. And you have to leverage their strengths as well to create a treatment plan or a vocal plan that's going to work.
Yeah. It's funny, because I swore blind I would never be a singing teacher. I absolutely swore blind I would never do it. It's funny because when I did start teaching, I suddenly went, oh my God, this is amazing. I love this. I'm having an impact. I'm having this relationship.
Yes.
I'm sharing the things that I can do.
Well, if you have identified as somebody who's an enabler, then teaching is one of the most powerful ways you can enable.
Yeah.
Not everybody has the gift of being, intuitive and compassionate and playful. You can be... A lot of people who are damn good singers who can't do any of those things. But to be able to do those things and sing, you can really change somebody's life.
My best outcome ever is where people will ring me up and they'll say, I'm singing at this thing, or I've joined this choir, or I'm doing this thing, and these are people who never thought they could ever open their mouth in front of anybody else. Or people's experience is what matters. And if you don't have to think about it anymore, that to me is a good outcome. You know, if the fear's gone, or if you just think, oh, sod it, you know, I'm just going to sing this Christmas carol, or I'm just going to sing Happy Birthday to You, or I'm going to audition for the English National Opera next week, or all the things, you know, all the things that people do.
I won't be doing that.
You won't, maybe not this week, but you know, I mean, I've got a lot of people. Thanks for listening to the Happy Voice podcast with my guest, Dr. Courtney Raspin, and me, Heather Meyer-Thomas. Dr. Courtney can be found online at ultimhealth.co.uk and on Instagram at Dr. Courtney Raspin. Please subscribe to this podcast and join in the conversation online. If you would like to share your experience of your voice, I'd love to hear about it. We have a Facebook page and a group at facebook.com/voicepod. And the website is vocalist.co.uk. I'll speak to you again soon.